Hello and welcome to a special live edition of the Puro Gems Podcast here on the 5 Star Network YouTube channel this time. And we have a beautiful Saturday night here. And with me today to talk about Bloodsport Bushido in the legendary Sumo Hall is, first of all, Yannick. How are you, Yannick?
I'm very well. Thank you for the invitation. I'm very happy to take Pedro into the Ionic sandwich here.
Yes, and together with the in the Yannick sandwich, because of course both me and Yannick are called Yannick, the same writing as well, the only real writing. We have also here Pedro. Pedro, how are you?
What's up? I'm doing great. This has been in the making for I want to say a month or so or two. Um, this is gonna be an interesting one, and I am here with two nutcases.
What is that? Yeah, it was like an idea had randomly, either in the middle of the day or in the middle of the night for some reason, and now we are here doing that actually. So it's really cool.
I'm not sure
Um,
if I would have seen the show if I would review it, but I'm really glad I did.
I mean, yeah, we will come to that. There was a lot of fun stuff, a lot of weird stuff, a lot of bad stuff, a lot of good stuff. So yeah, but just to ask in general, do you like both of you? Do you follow Bloodsport at all? Outside of course the show, did you follow like the Bloodsports in the US? How did you feel about them, and compared to like coming into the show, how was your feeling here?
Um, I guess I'll start because okay. So I'll start from like the beginning. I have never seen the Bloodsport movie, which is kind of odd for me because I usually like that type of stuff.
There's a Bloodsport
Um,
movie.
yeah, that's kind of the basis of Bloodsport.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's it's like I want to say in the 80s or like early 90s. It was a movie with uh John Claude Van Damme. I think that was like one of I think that's what kind of like the thing of Bloodsport started with, like because they were fighting in like a underground like fight club type thing. And I haven't watched it, like even though that's like my wheelhouse, so I don't know. And of course, we have like all the Bloodsport stuff that's happened throughout all of collective weekends for WrestleMania and the odd Bloodsport shows. And I'm I'm a fan. Recently, I haven't been a fan, but I think there's just a really cool concept that we don't get a lot. And I had the opportunity to go see one, which I didn't during last WrestleMania weekend, and I regret it and kind of don't regret it. I'm kind of in the middle of what I like about like my shoot style wrestling. So
I think I've seen all of them. I
Yeah, I think so too.
the Josh Barnett editions. Um, for me, like in the US, they kind of have run their course. They
Yeah.
seem to be a pretty pretty repetitive, which is clear. Um, just never thought they would do so because it's like once or twice a year. But like this year, I watched it. I was entertained. It was fun, but I'm not excited for this one though because I looked at the card and a lot of like big names if you know who these people are, kind of. Like I didn't know who Rampage Jackson was because I don't watch MMA. Um, I don't know the history in that. And then the all the stuff with the horrendous ticket prices. I was just hoping for like a car crash kind of show. Um, so I was kind of excited.
Yeah, yeah, I can agree with that. It was like I was, like you said, I was kind of getting tired of the blood sports because we have pretty much seen it all, right? We have seen the big matches already happening. We have seen, I don't know, like for example, Moxley having multiple matches there. We have seen Barnett having like 10 matches or so in all of his shows, and all of them were at least fine. So it kind of ran its course in the US because you had the same talents on there that you have seen. And, well, it wasn't really exciting for me, especially this year. I don't think the show was really that good. I liked the astronauts match and some
Yes,
other
but that
stuff.
was also like a weak copy of what they did on their Battle Arts Revival show.
Yeah, and it was also not really what you expect from a Bloodsport match, if that makes sense. It was more.
Yeah, it was still like the best match on the card by a
Yeah.
comfortable margin.
Yeah, because it was their style
That
match.
was not tough. I mean, yeah, that was not tough considering like the other stuff was not really good.
John
I
Morrison.
mean, at least we got shoot star Nick Nemeth.
It's
For
Johnny
good and bad.
Bloodsport, please.
Yeah, but considering like I was really hyped for the show, just for this review, and also the talent on the show is like so exciting because it's kind of random, like Rampage Jackson or someone like someone like Santino Marella in the Sumo Hall. Incredible. But
Yeah, Sumo Hall really was its own character for this show.
yeah,
I think that's really what like lifted
I don't
it.
think it would have. I think the only other place where it would have worked better would have been a filled Kurikan Hall.
Yes,
because
but they couldn't have filled
just-
it.
the
They would have
basement
filled the
Monstar.
Kurikan Hall.
Well, define filled. Like a real Japan filled? 1808? Yeah, sure.
Jesus. Do we even know
yeah.
that attendance? I think it's still not.
They
a thing,
have
is it?
announced Real Japan has announced 1808, and then you see pictures, and it's like 50-50
Oh,
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
seats that are.
It
taken
it
it.
was for sure less than the Marigold show, and I would say it was even less than the Hurricane of Stardom, and it did like 700. So
Incredible.
you can imagine how high it was actually. But yeah, coming to this show, yes, like we said, it was in the Sumo Hall. I'm not pronouncing the Japanese name on stream; that is just embarrassing for me.
Oh, you might.
Just to quickly talk about the attendance, because I think that's the funny part of the show. Yannick, you have sent me pictures of someone on the show. Can you explain how the ticket price were and how in the end the turnout was? Because they did not announce the attendance officially,
No.
but we can guess based on the pictures how much it was.
Yes, I would guess it was like around 1,000 to maybe 1,200 people. A friend of mine was there, and he told me like on the top rank there was just basically no one. So there are these kind of blocks, and the block is maybe, I don't know, 80 seats or something, and in this block there were 4.
Mm-hmm.
80 is a bit much. Let's say 50 per block. And in his one were like 4. And those were the cheapest seats. The seats on the bottom rank were astronomically expensive. Like, why would anyone want to pay that? And if you don't know the Sumo Hall, there are these boxes, and they sold like you sit on the floor in these boxes, and it's kind of cramped. So, like, if you're a foreigner, they actively discourage you from buying those tickets because you're just probably not used to sitting on the floor for that long. And they were trying to sell these boxes for 66,000 yen, which is thought for 6 people. Comfortably, you can maybe sit for 3 people in those boxes and 4 at most. I'm not sure what they were thinking.
They weren't.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, we can bring up the typical theories when it's about shoot style wrestling in Japan. But I'm not going to speculate about that. I think it's just that the Sumo Hall is likely so cheap to run for them that they believe they will at least fill a bit because they think the names they got on it, and the shoot style wrestling, which is not something that is common in Japanese wrestling these days, at least in the size, right? The closest, and I would not call it shoot star wrestling, the closest might be great with the UWF stuff and the MMA stuff they have. And even they did like, what did they do for Sumo Hall? 1.7 thousand?
I'm not sure.
They
But
did below that.
like what they did it was abysmal. I just think Barnett overestimated himself
That would
by a
not be the
wide
first time
margin.
that is happening. Yeah.
What? No.
happens every time with him.
But honestly, because you can do a lot in Sumo Hall, you can do a lot with lightning, and for the viewing experience at home, I don't think it was all that bad.
No, I think the crowd was pretty into it, except for some parts with the crapping where you can't make much noises, especially a Japanese crowd. Even it was pretty empty. It looked pretty empty. I've posted pictures in Discords, where they were like, there was like a shot with Fuminori Abe in the background. It was like the second rank, and it was like 5 people there, and they were all lighting up that you can only see them, which was hilarious. Yeah, for what it was at least, you heard the crowd. Yeah, I would
Such a
just
sad
say,
statement.
yeah. I mean, I would just say we start into the opening of the show. We had some little drums performance. I'm not sure what it was supposed to be. I would believe it was some traditional thing that I have no clue about, but it was cool at least. And then we
Yeah, I
had,
enjoyed it.
yeah, that was cool. Then we had the Pride Lady. I believe she's called Len Hart, who also did ring announcing for the Kichimuto last show, the retirement match of him. Introduced all the wrestlers and called them out. She fucked up here and there because I believe Moxley was like already in the ring and she just started to call out someone else that was
Yeah,
coming
everyone's
out
cues
like
are messed up.
before.
Everyone.
Yeah. That was kind of a bit weird. But these presentations are always cool because you can see the lineup of the show, the wrestlers coming out, and some of them were like really wild to see. Like, I mean, you had like Rampage Jackson coming out, and then like 2 wrestlers later, you had the IWGP World Champion that signed to AW, which is like a surreal image. So that was
At
cool.
least he wore the New Japan tracksuit.
Yeah, he had also the
I
belt
want
with
one
him.
of
I
those,
don't
by
think
the
it
way.
was the real belt, but he had a belt with him.
Yeah, he was fresh.
Yeah.
Peps, before we get into it, I need to
Yes.
kind of separate where our viewing was. So you did not watch English, right?
I watch it in Japanese, yes.
Okay, cool. Because I bought the English fight thriller feed, and Yannick, you watched it with me. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I watched
Okay.
it with you.
Okay, yeah. So there's some differences. We had Fulton and Pickering on commentary, which okay, whatever.
Your
And
mileage may vary.
yeah, I think you had a Bushi and then somebody else on the team for Japanese. I forget who it was.
Japanese, I don't know who it was, but Kota Ibushi was on Japanese commentary.
Yeah, it was
Which
it was like
funny.
it was just because like the intro when it started, it was like we heard Fulton and then we heard Pickering like a couple minutes later. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be that type of show.
Yeah, I would think it's because of their Bama deal. They had a Bama Productions, which helped the show tremendously. It was showed really, really well, in my opinion. So it was likely part of that it just called in the ones that they are paying already. Or it's maybe because Pickering and no, not Pickering. I don't think Pickering has a background with MMA, but Fulton has. I think Fulton
Pickering
comes
is
from MMA.
a karate or judo guy.
Close enough.
Yep.
Yeah, but I can understand why they choose them, but it's like Pickering is tough to listen, especially recently. I don't think he's been good. Pickering, Jesus. Fulton is good. I like Fulton. I enjoy his commentary.
They do have a very unique style, I think. Which fits this show honestly. Like, but they try to do this on Nova too. I haven't listened to an English commentary in Nova for a while though. But they try to do like a sports style commentary, and I think it kind of works out. It is like it fits. I'm just not a big fan.
Yeah, the thing about this kind of Jesus. The thing about this kind of style is that you need a commentary that understand the basics of MMA, or at least more than that, because otherwise you cannot explain to the viewers as a normal wrestling commentator why this grappling hold is so good. I didn't listen to English commentary. I had Japanese on, but I could have seen worse commentary doers than these two.
Yeah, like at least they have chemistry. Like that's all I kind of cared about.
They had they had the minimum you ask for.
Yeah.
So, I would just say we jump right into the show, and we start off with the opening match on the card. We had Fuminori Abe facing Yu Izuka from Glade. It was a fun opening match, a little fine match. The thing about Bloodsport matches, and we'll come to that later in the show as well. Most of them are pretty short, right? Because it's supposed to be shoot fight, and shoot fights also don't go like 28 minutes and can be over at any second, pretty much. So
Yeah.
I get it, but
That's kind of the point that you never know that every
that you
moment could
never
be
know when
lost.
There was like a sick headbutt spot that between the two, and then it was just pretty much where I thought, okay, now 1 or 2 minutes more, it would have been legit great. It was over pretty much, which was a bit disappointing. But it's pretty much the concept of the show: surprising finishes out of nowhere, where no one knows when it's ending with what lock or with what move or with which submission hold it's ending. So I get it. How did you two feel about this match in the opening of the show?
I thought it was like a very fine match. Like for an opener, it's kind of what I expected. Obviously, Izuka was not going to win. It was obvious from the start he was not winning. And then Abe basically just did what he's known for and got out in less than 4 minutes. So it's kind of fun, not amazing, but fun enough.
Yeah, I think they just have. I mean, they always rush through these undercard matches. It's just always the case on Bloodsport. I just know they have such a way better match in them. Which I still like this. It was good, very short, but I think it kind of made sense. The finish.
Yeah, but both of them are like not really the kind of wrestlers that you would put in these kind of matches.
What do you mean? Izuka is like he does exclusively UWF stuff in Grid.
Not really these days. Isn't he doing this weird stuff that
I think you
just,
mean
just weird stuff
Izuchi.
that's like pretty much nothing. I know he got knocked out by Funaki like 50 seconds, yeah. but otherwise he's like pretty much doing something.
Oh no, yeah, he does other stuff now.
He's not relevant. I can agree with that. He's not relevant.
Which is a shame because he's good. I like him.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, everyone in Galate is a shame that they're there, except for Shima. He should stay there.
Yeah, he should stay there and not leave.
Won't go to AAA.
Ew.
Yeah, but I would just move on to the tournament. Bloodsport Bushido tournament first round match. Hideki Suzuki defeated Hikaru Sato with an STF to advance to the final, like around 5 minutes. There's two there's two different people in Hideki Suzuki. One is the motivated one, and the other one is just I do what I want, get my paycheck, and get out of there. I'm not sure which one it was because if you likely ask Hideki, that was likely the most fun he has had in a match in a long time because he loves this kind of grappling. The match was pretty much built around a lot of grappling, a lot of headlocks, takeovers, and just to build up this this like pretty much this grappling environment with Hideki just in the end out grappling him and locking in an STF to win the match. But it was a bit disappointing in my opinion. How did you two feel about it?
First of all, like he didn't wear it here, but he did wear it at introduction and later when he came out to second someone. I need a shirt from Sato. No nude, no life.
Yes.
The hentai man is very good. I love Hikaru Sato. He's so entertaining. But the match really was kind of a nothing match. I need to say though, I think the almost the best part about it is Sato's theme in Ryogoku that went hard.
Very true.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's cool for these kind of wrestlers who, I mean, Sato pretty much wrestled in front of like 5 fans last night in the house of was it his house or Takagi's house?
His parents' house.
His parents' house. I'm sorry. Yeah. his parents' house. Now he's wrestling in Ryogoku Sumo Hall, which is
in front of 10 people. Shout out
20,
to that.
20 more people.
10. Yes. Yeah. Pedro, how did you feel about it?
I don't think it was bad, but not good at all. Like this is the thing when we see Hideki in the ring. Like, are you gonna grapple fuck or are you gonna like actually attempt here? And I feel like he took it really slow, and it's sad because it's Sato and Sato's like good at this, but Hideki doesn't do it for me a lot of the time. And then he just it goes into the STF and it ends real quick. So not entertaining enough for me.
Yeah, and you just start with 2 grapple fuck matches. Really short grapple fuck matches where they couldn't really build to a compelling story.
And the opener was only like slightly better because Abe actually tossed some strikes and a headbutt in there. So
Yeah, I can agree with that. It's just it's the perfect match for them that it can do like they wanted to do because especially Hikaru Sato is a fantastic grappler. If you haven't checked out for the listeners, if you haven't checked out his match against Chihiro Hashimoto in DDT yet, no wait, that was Shinya.
No,
right?
that was Shinya Oki.
Ah, fuck. No.
Watch his match with Fuminori Abe on his own produce show this spring.
Oh yeah,
that was great.
For the independent junior title, yes, that was fantastic. Even the Zag one on the Death Pay show pretty much had the same layout of both just grappling all the time, but it worked much better with also much harder crowd. To be fair for them, so that is like kind of pretty much his match. But the problem just is that neither him or Hideki were able to make this interesting for me at least. Then, moving on to the second tournament match, we had Eric Hammer.
hell yeah.
Undefeated Bloodsport coming into the show 5-0, facing Takuya Nomura, the other part of the Astronauts, one half of the Iron Fist Tag Team Champions, I believe they called in Basara Pro.
Yeah, he just
Iron
won those,
Fist
right?
Basara, yes.
Yes, I know.
That happened yesterday and it was amazing. Please watch it.
Yes.
They injured. No, they didn't. But now Higuchi's injured, so I'm sad about that. But the match is great.
Eric Hammer is a former IGF guy, the Inoki shoot the Nukishu promotion. And some of the matches he had were insanely weird on paper. And I don't want to see them, but at the same time, I want to see them just to check them out how hilarious they look. I found here a match that was Atsushi Sawada, who has a 3.78 rating on Cage Match. Even Strigger gave it as a 3 out of 10. Doesn't say much about him. Teaming together with Eric Hammer against Bobby Lashley, WWE's Bobby Lashley, and Chad Gaspard. Rest in peace in that part. Some of these IGF matches and IGF cards were incredibly random, and Eric Hammer being part of it is kind of fitting.
Yeah, like the Genome Federation was just a fever dream. If you like 2010's fever dream, like honestly.
I mean, the card alone has some weird matches. There's Mask Genom Jr., which is Hedy Gauri, I don't know, some French guy who's trained by Antonio Inoki. Faced Hurricane Shane Helms on the same card.
Yeah.
As well as Mil Mascaras against Tatsumi Fujinami, the Predator against Luke Gallows.
The Predator.
And the main event of the show had Shinji Suzukawa against Bob Sapp.
Yeah.
Our favorite bald IWGP heavyweight champion.
It's my guy, and he tagged with him before. I'm pretty sure.
The opener is Kento Miyahara versus Akira Cho. That was young Miyahara, but like that sounds actually great.
This promotion is incredible.
Hikaru Sato was also on that show.
Of course he was. Bonnet as well, of course. Yeah. But for the match itself, I loved this match. It was 3 minutes of just both of them just trying to go at it. It didn't seem like that Eric Hammer liked that Nomura went like really hard on him with his kicks and all of that. I believe that Hammer wanted to have a more grounded match. But whatever it was just awesome. It was so random, so weird that it just rocked, in my opinion.
Yeah, I will read my notes for this. Finally some striking. Hammer is hilarious. Nomura is so much better though. I swear if he loses, in brackets, he will. And then finish sucks.
Yeah. The finish was weird. It was pretty much just a power bomb, and without a follow-up, the ref just ended it. And I mean, sure, a power bomb is a dangerous move in shoot fight wrestling, but at least followed up with some strikes. But instead, Eric Hammer just hit the power bomb. The ref called for the bell. Hammer just was seemingly angry, or at least unsatisfied with for whatever reason, and just ran out there, jumped out of the ring, seemingly hurt his ankle, and just went backstage.
Yeah, like Nomura went straight for his legs, like from like the beginning. Like they didn't even like get to grappling; they just started striking, which is fucking hilarious. And like I didn't think this was like good. I just thought it was funny. It was really funny.
Yeah, I joined for what it was. Yeah. So in the final of the tournament, it's going to be Hideki Suzuki versus Eric Hammer. I would just say we will just review it really quickly because it was pretty much a nothing match. Hideki wins the tournament by defeating Hammer. He beat the undefeated streak of Hammer in Bloodsport. It's more important than the Undertaker streak. It's more important than... Are there any other streaks? I don't know. It was a bigger upset than when Mike Tyson lost his first fight in Tokyo Dome.
Yeah.
No.
Eric Hammer came out to destroy everything.
Yes.
It was so good. and then afterwards Hideki with his like happy music. Very good.
No, it's so awesome. Yeah. Uh, the final between Hammer and Hideki was pretty much a nothing match in my opinion. But also, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really fully paying attention because that was going head to head with FWC against Dingori, so I had it on a double screen. It was fine grappling with the end, Hammer tapping out. Yeah, I mean, sure.
Yeah, the match itself was kind of downer because I really liked the match beforehand.
Yeah,
Though the finish here was really cool actually because Hammer teased the power bomb, um, and then he couldn't follow through with it because his knee buckled. The one that Nomura has already worked over in the first match. And immediately Hideki went for it and tapped him out. I thought that was nice, at least get a little story here going.
yeah,
But
it
the
was cool
match
that
itself,
they told a little story over the tournament, especially with the Herrick Hammer's ankle. That
yeah,
was nice. I can give you that. Yeah.
this just could have been the Astros.
Yeah,
Well,
but
no,
Hideki
Abe wasn't,
Suzuki.
but yeah, yeah.
How did you feel about the match, Pedro? Do you have
Um,
Are you more positive on it than we were?
Actually, I have to give a little praise to Hideki because this was grapple fuck, but he at least tried to make it feel a little different. Legit during the one of the during the intermission, we watched Hideki and Josh Barnett in like IGF. I
Oh
forgot
yeah,
which.
that
Yeah,
yeah, that match was fantastic.
like we
If
were
you remember
actually like
that.
watching an old IGF, and I'm like, man, like Hideki is like actually like in his day, like he was like actually insane. And as soon as this match popped up, he was kind of doing the same thing where he didn't stay in a lock for that long. He was trying to move it along. But I think Hammer was the guy that didn't do much except tease the power bomb and then get his face kicked and then tap out to a ankle lock. So I think Hideki tried a little more here, and it's just funny that he wins because he's Hideki.
Yeah, he's he's Hideki, of course.
He ends the streak of Eric Hammer that's been around since 2019 in other Bloodsport, which is
Maybe
insane.
this Bloodsport is non-canon.
It's just really funny. Like when you go look at Eric Hammer's like cage match, and he goes undefeated, and then he goes to tag matches. He fights for the IGF belt. This guy has faced people like Daniel Puder. He's been in the ring with like Bobby Lashley, people like Kendo Kashin, Fujita. And then you know who he loses to in the year 2024? Hideki, the man.
Yeah, but everyone should lose to Hideki.
I like Hideki. Not gonna lie, I like him.
I like it. Yeah, I love him. He's cool. He's funny.
ma-
He's one of the funnier guys.
He makes me laugh. Yeah.
Though
Um,
at this moment of the show,
yes.
I'm just transitioning to the next one. Moment of the show was in the women's match when they when English commentary was, you know, presenting the wrestlers, Konami and Maya Fukuda, and they listed Konami's accomplishments.
Oh yeah.
But they were just talking about all the stuff that Asumi has won.
Nice.
Are you saying that Konami's not a high-speed champion, a former high-speed champion?
A 3-time high-speed champion, I mean.
Asumi's only a two-time champion, I believe.
They said 3 times. I copy pasted it here.
Yeah, she's two-time.
And an
Nice.
artist champ with Yo and Hazuki. And Momo and Tommy.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. How can that go wrong?
Rumor is they tried to get Azumi for the show and they didn't.
I don't really know if that would have been a good idea.
It's not real.
It was though to this moment of the show by far the best match.
Yes. So it was Konami against Maya Fukuda from Galate. Konami won with the leg bar. Fukuda, just for people who don't know her, she's from Glade. She does mainly UWF matches, sometimes shoot kickbox matches or fights. Um, she's not the greatest. She's not the greatest shoot fighter, to put it lightly. And in UWF matches, she also showed in the past that she's not good at pretending shoot fights. But I believe this was one of her better outings. At some
Yeah,
point, she
I would
looked
agree.
at some point at least she looked so uncoordinated in the ring that she kind of like I didn't wasn't sure if she knew where she was in the ring, but she had some cool moments. There was the kick combination she had with the Brazilian kick, especially that was really stood out to me, and was also one of the more cooler moments of the show in ring wise. It was pretty fun, and there were moments she looked worse in, of course. But I have seen her doing much worse than here, which is
I
why
think,
I want to. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and I think Konami did a good job with her.
Yes, I wanted to say that.
She mainly took the helm. And so when Fukuda actually got to get her stuff in, they actually they were able to tell a story, and it felt like a comeback, and she used that. But I agree, there were moments where she just was very sloppy, and I think that's just because she's a pro wrestler pretending to be a shoot fighter, which she is not, which she has proven many times now.
Yeah, Maya's strength is for sure her underdog baby face persona that she has built in Glade, which is partly because of the reason that Glade is just jobbing her out at every chance possible, but also because she has something with her that is just so makes you want to root for her. Um, yeah, Konami did well. Yeah, I wanted to say that. I think she did well in leading this match. She came out together with Minoru Suzuki and Hikaru Sato, which was a cool moment for her, like as well, since they seemingly trained, I would guess, or prepared for this match together. I would at least think so.
That's some scary trainers.
Yeah. But
Um,
during her time off from Stardom, I believe she did some MMA or some training or was some coach in some MMA dojo. I believe Velke would have known that, but she did some stuff there. So she has been.
it's MMA
Uh,
or kickboxing, but she did train a lot. I'm not sure if she actually had like a sanctioned fight.
no, she had not a second fight. I
Um,
believe she was some.
but she
She at
did. I
least
think she
trained in some classes with people. I have seen a lot
Yeah,
of.
and I think she did some like little tournaments, one-off
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
What really stood out here, because they had, well, until the main event, they had like the spot of the whole night, when they were like leg locked and rolling both off the rings. If you haven't seen it,
Mhm.
Bloodsport ring doesn't have ropes, so they fell off, and Konami landed in a half crab, which looked so incredible.
They look
That
gnarly.
was, yeah. She should actually like train that and try to implement that in her arsenal. Like put someone in a leg, and knowingly roll out just to lock in a half crab. That's so cool.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there were many of these kind of spots where they rolled out of the double submission, but this one was for sure the best looking one
Yeah,
because it had a
normally
little
it was
twist in it.
just broken, but like they just have broken up the submission. But here she actually made it more lethal.
Oh yeah, 100% sure. It led to something else than just breaking up and both go into the ring before the 10 count again. Yeah. So
Yeah, like
otherwise, I was happy with this match. It was another good match. Nothing too great, but something I would at least recommend watching if you have the time.
yeah, depending how you feel about the main event, I think I was the most entertained by this because I had kind of low expectations, but
Hmm.
I think they win as best as they could here, and I
Yeah,
think
they were at least
I think
others
Maya
didn't look.
deserved I think Maya
Yeah,
deserved the credit on this one, but
yeah,
Konami was obviously the base to work off of. She did really incredible. So
yeah. I don't think. Shit, I forgot what I wanted to say. Yeah, never mind. Forget it. Forget it. Oh yeah. I think both of them were more of the more motivated people on the show. They went out there and tried
Yeah,
to have actual great match instead of putting each other or putting themselves over, but just giving their opponents not much. It didn't feel like you can see that as negative as well on a show that's supposed to be shoot wrestling, but it felt like they were the ones that worked together again instead of against each other, if that makes sense. Where like
it's
especially someone like Hideki and Hammer try to not give each other much, which created something a different atmosphere to this.
yeah, it felt like they were taking this as their chance.
I mean, of course, I would think for Maya it's one of the top five biggest matches on of her career. While for Konami, it's a totally new fan base that she has never wrestled in front of. So I would maybe I hope so that they both gain some fans coming out of the show. That would be positive at least. Then we move on to Davy Boy Smith Jr. against Masakatsu Funaki. Funaki wins this match with a heel hook in around 7.5 minutes. Um, before we go into the match, before the matches, they always announce the accomplishments of the wrestlers, right? With Funaki, with Moxley, they mentioned the IWGP World Title, the US title win, the AEW World Championship wins, and all of that. With Davey Boy Smith Jr., they could have chosen so much. He has won so much. He has won tag belts in New Japan, Noah, in MLW, in everywhere pretty much.
did I? Yeah.
But they announce that he's a former FCW Florida Tag Team Champion and the
Hell yeah.
FCW Southern Heavyweight Champion, which is FCW, for those who don't know, is Florida Championship Wrestling, which is the NXT before NXT.
Was
That
it
was a
also the
choice. It
NXT
was
before
funny.
Ohio Valley Wrestling?
Was OVW?
I think OVW is older
Yeah, I think
Okay,
so.
I don't know.
before
But
before their
that's
Florida move.
that's just funny.
I would guess they saw WWE branding and just decided we will take that.
I think Davy Boy gets a lot of flag a lot of the time. Well, he's not an exciting wrestler. Um,
Yeah.
but like overall, I think he's pretty competent and like someone you can really rely on, and he can still go. He's not that old, but like he was in the All Japan Champion Carnival, and his match with Kento Miyahara was really good. Well, having a good match with Kento is, I think it's harder
Especially
to have a
main
bad
event
one.
Kenta Miyahara. Yeah.
Yeah. But here they brought an intensity. It's not a normal wrestling match. It's a blood sport fight. So they brought another intensity, which I, for some reason, really really liked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was coming into this match a bit mixed, if I'm being honest, because it's Funaki in 2024, and David Boy Smith. I like him. I like him more than most people. I think he's a competent wrestler, a really good tag wrestler. I think it's by far his best role. But seeing him in such a spot is always a bit, yeah. Who really knows, right? What they are playing with this, because Funaki can always go in both directions. It started very, very slow in my opinion, but the grappling they did was really great, and it's just something Funaki's so good at, which should be obvious considering all the stuff he has done in the past. Doesn't matter if it's in UWF or wherever he has wrestled and fought at. That being said, I was totally fine with it. I loved the ending stretch of it. Just to describe it to the people who have not watched it, David Boy Smith Jr. teased the sharpshooter, which is of course the finisher of his family, pretty much. Is he part of the family, or is
Yes.
he just adopted the family? I don't even
It doesn't
know.
matter. He is his part of the clan.
He's part of the yeah. We
The
all know
legacy.
what it is.
Yeah.
Um, of course, yeah, of course he's. Never mind. He's the son of David Boy Smith. It's a British bulldog. Makes sense. Um, yeah, but he
Finished off
tried
the
to go
match.
for the sharpshooter, but it was a little bit of struggle. Funaki put his leg away to make it tougher for David Boy Smith Jr. to get in the sharpshooter, and then Funaki countered it right into the heel hook, which led to David Boy Smith tapping out. It was a really, really good sequence. I love that because it's something so simple that you just need in these kind of matches, especially in Bloodsport matches. It just can make me pop, and this popped me huge. Pedro, how did you feel about this match? Just
I did not feel.
uh,
I honestly I think there's a match kind of similar to this. I think like two matches ahead that actually did this really way better. Because I don't think as much as I like Davy Boy actually wrestling, I still don't think this is real wheelhouse. I don't think he kind of deserve. I don't think he deserves to be in there with like Funaki, honestly. Because I think Funaki's obviously he's actually tenured and he actually has like history and in reality to me he's one of like the best shooters in like wrestling ever. So like I don't know, putting him against Davy Boy just wasn't for me. And there's a match kind of similar to this that is just way better.
yeah, I can see it. Yes. Then we move on to maybe one of the matches I've been looking forward the most on this card. Quinton Rampage Jackson makes his
Yeah.
Bloodsport debut, his second official pro wrestling match of all time, against none other than Hideki Shrek Sekine. So just before we go into the match, can you please have you to any clue what his first match in a pro wrestling ring was?
Was it is TNA?
Yeah, it was TNA.
Yes.
It was the
Oh,
main event Mafia. Magnus, which is Nick Aldis, Rampage Jackson, Samoa Joe, Sting, and
Jesus.
AJ Styles defeating Aces and Eights, Devon Dudley, Jared Briscoe, Mike Knox, Mr. Anderson, and Wes Briscoe. TNA
What the
2013 was
fuck?
it's actually crazy that they survive doing shit like that.
you see, they tried stuff, but yeah. The match was fun in my opinion. Rampage Jackson submitted Shrek in a really fun match. Shrek coming out had a really cool mask on that looked so awesome. Um, Shrek is kind of I wouldn't say a meme, but a respected person at least in the pro wrestling Joshi circuit as a Joshi fan because he has been in a numerous Stardom shows, singing in the front row or second row, just with some merch on, and it was really cool. But it's also really cool to see him being an actual shoot fighter because that is what he is in the end. Rampage Jackson on the other side is a former UFC and Bellator fighter. He was even a light heavyweight champion in UFC. So seeing him in Bloodsport is kind of crazy. I I really want to know how this came about. I would guess him and Josh Barnett are kind of cool, but I don't know. It's kind of weird to see him here, but I can't complain.
Yeah, I think they have. I
So
think they have Pride Connection from. Uh, I think the year. I forget because Rampage was like signed to I think WFA after Pride or something like that.
mhm.
But when you're in Pride, I think when you're in Pride or when you're in K1, you go instantly to Barnett to train because he has his own dojo and stuff out there. So like people like Bob Sapp when he jumped over to Japan, just randomly signing like because they saw Bob Sapp and they said he needs to come to Japan. That's when K1 had their stuff in I think Los Angeles. They said um, they saw him. Barnett saw Bob Sapp and was like, "We're bringing you to Japan," and they put him on a flight. They gave him money, and he stays at the dojo to learn shoot fighting. So like I think when Jackson went over, I would think it's something similar where he stays in the dojo like that. And uh, I mean, for the time of what Rampage did, like him fighting like people like Shogun Rua and like actually like he was like actually like a good fighter in Pride itself, and then the closing of Pride and all that weird stuff happening and his contract being bought up, and that's what came to him being in the UFC and all that stuff. So it's it's fucking it's actually really cool that he ended up here, and I think by the end of the match we kind of realized like man, yeah, like it's for the jokes we want to make about the show and like kind of like the weirdness of this all, like having people like Santina, Maya Fukuda, and Rampage Jackson on the same card. This is actually kind of a cool thing to have, especially against Shrek too, who is a person in our community that we appreciate.
Yes, Yannick.
Yeah, it may be around this time where you just had to notice. Yeah, this show is kind of cool. Like this is fun. It's way better than I anticipated.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I like this.
yeah.
And like
They
What I
seem to
love the
have a
most,
good time too, which is it's
yeah,
on a show like this. It's just nice to have some wholesomeness from time to time.
yeah. What I loved was just Rampage Jackson taking a goddamn backdrop, which was kind of funny. But yeah, after the match, when Jackson celebrated, he pulled out a beer, a cap, a chain, and a little shirt, and then celebrated his victory like he won a shoot fight and main event of some Pride show back in the 2000s, which was hilarious. He also cut a little promo where he pretty much thanked Josh for getting him into the gym so he can get closer to the form he was when he was younger, which was a fun, and cute little speech. I would think, I don't know anything much about Rampage Jackson, his personal, how he is personal, how his personal life is going, but at least tells me that whatever was going on in his life, that the chance to wrestle at Josh Barnett's Bloodsport helped him to get healthier again, which is something good.
Yeah, I think he was one of the guys that was he was kind of on and off with UFC because he felt kind of at the time because if people don't know like UFC had different changes in ownership. Like it was owned by like Zuffa, and then at some point like we ended up with like the TKO stuff and it just a bunch of like changes in the head like the offices, and at some point Rampage was like not he was not with it because he felt like he was being mistreated. But like it's cool that like he a lot of these fighters don't make enough money, and I think Rampage is in like the exception because he was such a star in like every promotion kind of he went to, like Bellator, UFC, Pride, like even after Pride, when he was like in the under promotion. So it's like it's just really cool to see. And yeah, also not a beer. He has, I guess, his own energy kind of drink thing. Or I guess he's partnered with like an energy drink type of thing. So it's kind of
Could
funny.
be energy, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like the most UFC MMA thing where you win, you put a hat on, a shirt on, and you have an energy drink or a water in your hand to advertise. It's so MMA, but it felt right.
Yeah, it felt cool. It also brought more of the shoot style feeling to the show, which helped this entire match. It had a totally different feeling than most of the show, so it was fine. Then afterwards, I believe it was afterwards, we had Yoshiaki Fujiwara in the ring. So is the wildest combination I've ever seen. Kota Ibushi and Akira Maeda. Quite a lot of wrestling history in the ring, to be fair, with 3 different eras, totally. Ibushi gave Fujiwara a trophy while Maeda presented him with flowers. I was not sure what it was about, really. Was because I did not listen to English commentary, but I would guess it was just some celebration of his career, of Fujiwara's career, which is a cool thing.
The biggest fight of this whole show was Fujiwara versus those stairs. The steps.
It's a struggle.
He's still wrestling, by the way. And I don't know how.
Well, he's on cards. There might be a
Hey,
difference between wrestling and whatever he does.
he did a shoot headbutt in New Japan 2 years ago. Well, he didn't shoot headbutt an opponent. He shoot headbutted the ring post, but he did a shoot headbutt.
Pop quiz: how old is he?
74, 73?
70.
75.
Nice.
That's
so
crazy.
That's
incredible.
incredible.
Yeah, considering how I don't know how he's getting even clear to wrestle. I mean, wrestle, right? But he
Don't
stuff.
ask a doctor and you're fine.
The Kura Ibushi way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was a little good thing. Then we go maybe to the surprise of the show, the surprise match of the show. We had Santino Marella, former WWE wrestler, stepping into a Bloodsport ring for the first time since 2019 against Katsushi Sakuraba, one of the most legendary MMA fighters of all time, especially in Japan.
Yeah.
I believe everyone who has followed some kind of shoot fight or at least heard about it knows about his legendary fight in Pride against Crazy, which went like, how long did it went? You will know that.
There were multiple races.
Yeah. The
I was gonna say what Gracie and what
And there
era?
were multiple ones that went a long ass time, but yeah,
90-minute one. I think it was against Royce.
Yeah, so he was the Gracie Hunter, the first one to crack the code, beat the Gracies, and he's a legend for it. And then he's facing another legend in Santino, and I loved it so much. This was really, really cool.
Yes. Just for people who don't know, Santino Marella is a former battle arts wrestler. I'm not kidding. He had a battle arts tour before he went to WWE and became this comedy gimmick that we all know from our childhood, pretty much. What can we say about this match? I didn't expect much.
Yeah.
But I would go as far and say that it was maybe the best match of the show. Or at least, maybe it wasn't from... I love the main event, but we'll come to that. But at least it was the match that over delivered the most to a level where I was like totally impressed and totally into it from the first minute.
Yeah, like
Um,
in terms of like the style of what this show I think would want to go for, this is it. Like this is like the peak of like grappling, some type of striking, not some type of striking and judo tosses and stuff. But like in terms of like entertaining, like technical like work, this was like peak.
They were just rolling in there,
Yeah,
especially Sakuraba,
Sakuraba, yeah.
which is what he does. Like if you've seen any of his Noah stuff with Sugiura, it's all they did, and it was awesome.
Yeah. There was like a moment where he just teased him to do the cobra and all of that, with which is so hilarious and so amazing to watch. Yeah. Um, but going into the match, there were some moments that were like so awesome. Especially Sakuraba was fantastic in this match. He was able to grab every limb he wanted to out of every position at every time, which makes him so good in these kind of matches. This is just something you learn with experience, and especially Sakuraba has this experience, and it was just made the little things in this match work for me. You also notice to some others on the card, especially low on the card, that both of them knew exactly what the fans wanted, really, and they delivered. I really enjoyed this one. The finish of the match was pretty good. I enjoyed it. There was also like a sequence where Sakuraba countered the joke into an arm lock with Santino countering out of it, right into the heel hook, and then they had another counter. The submission wrestling or grappling was fantastic. I loved this. I cannot praise it enough. Yannick, how did you feel about the in-ring part of the match?
Um, it was fun. They weren't
Mm-hmm.
going out of their way to put on like a great match. They were just there to bring a vibe, if that makes sense.
Yes.
But I think it all was like a fitting package, and like the wrestling did not fall off in any way that it would have put them off. Um, they were taking a chill, and it was very fun. And it's still Sakuraba, and Santino being a shoot style wrestler is not news, at least to me, but it's always just a curiosity, and to actually see it, to see it in 2024 is it's really fun.
Yeah. It's like something that you heard but never really saw. I have not seen any of his Battle Lodge stuff. So, and I've also not seen any of his other stuff that he did. Maybe I'd watch his old Bloodsport match, but at least it's not in my head anymore. It's it's wild, right? That someone like him, who has been the comedy wrestler in WWE for an entire decade, I would at least describe him so. Um, Being such a shoot star wrestler that can actually go face to face with someone like Sakuraba, not totally look out of place. So that's at least something positive for him. Pedro, how did you feel?
oh yeah, like I said, like I think this was like in terms of the style, like this was the peak of what you kind of want on the show, where
Mm-hmm.
it's the style, it's the grappling, and there's some striking, some tosses, but then like Sakuraba trying to take the serious out of Morella and try to play with him with like the Cobra stuff, get him the Mongolian chops and stuff, and just like try to pull the Santino that we kind of seen on TV out, and then Santino didn't play up to it, which is good because this is more of a serious type of fight. But like Sakuraba just being the entertainer, he's one of the best for a reason. So like, I mean, this is just really good. Like in terms of like a total package, this is kind of what you want in terms of entertainment on the show.
For sure, I would go with that. Yes. Then we move on to the second of last match, and we will talk about on the show. Before we jump to the main event, we have Minoru Suzuki defeats Timothy Thatcher after 11 minutes and 20 seconds with the God Style pile driver via TKO. It was a rematch from an old OTT match in 2018 that, if I remember correctly, was a really good match, but I have not seen it in like 5 years, so if not, forgive me.
OTT, we need to ask Alex.
Oh, yes. I don't think he likes Minoru Suzuki.
I don't think he likes OTT. That's the point.
I don't think he likes man wrestling. No, jokes justified.
He does if they're called Nakajima.
Yes, of course. Well, it was a Minoru Suzuki match of 2024. I think that's the best way to describe it. And it's all about how high you are on Minoru in 2024 if you enjoy this match or not. I've enjoyed his recent outings with Takeshi and DDT and Kanao, but it was more like a white match, while this was more serious. And I don't think it was really fitting to them. It had good grappling. They went to the outside, both grabbed chairs, but then just instead of just fighting, which would have been a cool moment and something they would have really fit into Bloodsport, but just would have stood out because of it. It just went back into the ring instead. They had a cool striking sequence at the end, but yeah, it was fine in my opinion.
Yeah, like I didn't love this, but also when I think of Suzuki not motivated with a motivated wrestler in there, I think this is what you kind of get, where it's like his shtick, and then some of his like just signature stuff, like him coming out and you know, kind of being a merchant to his entrance, which was fine. This is what Suzuki is. But then, like, you know, playing up kind of dirty in the match, grabbing chairs, being angry, using the tables. Um,
Being Suzuki.
Yeah, just being Suzuki. Yeah, which is it's fine. It's honestly just fine for him. And I'm not the biggest stature guy, but I think he played the opposite. You know, he played the opponent side pretty well. But I didn't love this. This is like whatever to me. But I did love the finish with just the God style the power driver and just the finish. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, it was kind of snatched. Like, it was really quick, which is one thing I don't like about his usual God style pile driver because it takes forever. And here it was just like done and over, but it's like it's clear that it's over. It's not the power bomb, it's just a fucking pile driver. Yeah, you guys are wrong. This is match of the night.
Oh,
I thought this was tremendous. They had an intense. Lots of these guys tried to do an intense match, but they actually did it. I am a Thatcher guy, and
yeah, I
Suzuki
expected that. Yeah.
Suzuki is very on and off. But I think he brought the intensity, and then there were some good spots, like they did a table spot, which is funny, or was it just
Like a
chairs?
like he just tossed them into like the table for a quick second or something like that.
Yes, but it fucked up his back. Fucked up Thatcher's back. And if you look at it right after when it happened, where it was like slightly red, and at the end of the match, it was just like this deep purple that must have hurt so much. One thing that I really did not like is the headbutts they did because they were bad. They
Yeah.
were very clearly worked, and then like at that point just don't do it. But like at one point they Thatcher sold it like he was so in the in the tunnel and so fucked up that he literally fell off the ring. Yeah, it's to me this was, as I said, match of the night. It was very entertaining, um, and with the finish, I like the finish. Yeah, I said that it was brutal, but it was not like this long build-up stuff, but still like believable and fitting.
Yeah, it just had like a pent up energy that I think was done pretty well. I don't love it, but I think it was like what it should have been.
Yeah, I get that. The thing is, just asking, just curious, Yannick, how
Yeah.
do you feel about Thatcher in Japan compared to in
Well,
Germany, especially?
well, in Japan, I've never seen him in Germany. That was before my time.
Yeah,
Um, or at least in person. But WXW is not something I go back for. Um,
honestly.
I don't do that. And in Japan, he's in Noah, which I don't watch on principle. Sounds bad, but it kind of is like it is.
Yeah,
But
it
he will be in the World Tag Festival, teaming with Hideki, and I'm really looking forward to that, honestly.
yeah, that's like gonna be one of the funnier teams on this because Hideki is gonna have the time of his life. I just know that. But yeah, it's of course different with Thatcher if you know him in Germany because he's celebrated here like a hero, pretty much. While in Japan,
Yeah,
he's like one of many guys, and you notice that. Also, I would say that he wrestles a bit more serious in Japan, if that makes sense. As he has something to prove, while he knows in Germany he can be how he wants to because the fans just love him, and he can
well,
just be.
but in Germany he is Ringkampf, which is very like their motto is Die Motto ist heilig,
Yeah,
so the
yeah,
mat is
yeah. Of
sacred.
course.
So
But
they are
it's
a
like
catch as catch can.
not in terms of serious, in terms of he wrestles more comedy or not serious enough, but just that he
Yeah,
can
more
be more
varied.
yeah, that he can be more himself and how he wants to be because he knows that the crowd loves him the way he is and not the way he needs to be for the crowd to love him, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Which is a problem in Noah, which also kind of is a thing because the stable he's in is kind of weird, real with with Hideki and all of that, and the weird push they've been getting as a tag team. So yeah, but yeah, it was fine for Yannick. It was the match of the night, which it shouldn't have been surprising to me. Then we move on to the main event of the show. We had John Moxley, IWGP Heavyweight Champion, the ninth IWGP Heavyweight Champion, against Josh Barnett. The match went 22 minutes. It originally ended in a 20-minute time limit draw, but they decided to do an overtime, which I question if it was either to protect Josh Barnett or the other thing is they just forgot the time and just wanted to continue, which is also really likely with those two.
um, if you remember a few years back, Barnett had a time limit draw with Suzuki, and they also went to overtime.
Of course.
Which I think those 5 more minutes went into another time limit draw, and then
Yeah,
they
they went
quits.
25 time limit draw. Yeah, I think so. Hilarious. Yeah, it could be just a way to. Maybe they just wanted to wrestle more. I mean, the finishing yet was clear. John Moxley walked out as the winner, as the IWGP champion, which, of course, was the right decision. This was a rematch from the Bloodsport match 2021, where Barnett walked out as the winner. The match back then was really bloody. If you remember that, Moxley bleeded a lot in this match, so I had kind of the expectations going into it that we will see something similar to it because, first of all, it's Moxley. Second of all, it's Moxley in Bloodsport, where he bleeds even more than already. And third of all, it's if they have the chance to bleed, they will do it, just for the visuals. Um, it had a really good fight, a big fight feel for me. It felt like the main event with Moxley seemingly being motivated. I mean, he was so hyped before the bell rang. you instantly notice when he is on fire and when he doesn't care much, right? Especially as someone who watches it regularly in AEW or now in New Japan as well. I thought the beginning part of the match was fine. It took a while for me to get going because, like I more um was more focused on more focused on the shorter matches in the earlier part because it was like quick grappling exchange and then it's over. While he was like at least around 10 minutes, maybe 12 minutes until they got really into the next gear, and from then on it was just amazing, in my opinion. Pedro, how did you at least you know how are you high on Moxley recently, and how was the early part of the Bonnet match for you?
I'm more so like pro John Moxley. Like I think he's
Mhm.
a I think usually he relies on his tropes, which I think when a wrestler just relies on their usual shtick, it gets a little old sometimes. But I think when you put him in different situations, he usually comes out like looking like he put in a lot of effort. And I think more so this was kind of in that wheelhouse where I think he was motivated enough, especially in the spot like main event of Sumo Hall. So I think he did his part, and I think for what Josh is at this point of his like not even career at this age, I think he's still able to do some stuff in the ring that looks good enough. It looks believable. I usually don't like rate him like we've seen him in like do like an AEW match. We've seen him obviously in Bloodsport enough, and we've seen his odd like New Japan date, but like I'm usually not like the guy to go out and watch a match from him. And he basically booked himself in the main event here, but I think I think he picked the right person to go in there with, and I think they did the right thing of just kind of just being dirty in there and like just kind of doing everything like the outside spots, the use of like the corner post, the bleeding, the elbows, like gut wrench suplexes, power bombs, stuff like I think they did the whole wheelhouse, and I think they did enough to kind of send me home happy with the main. So yeah, like I was pretty entertained. I don't think this is the best match, but
Yeah,
I I was fairly entertained.
yeah. The final like 10 minutes of this match were, in my opinion, the best part on the show in terms of wrestling quality wise. There was so many six spots. Barnett hit a shoot style brain buster that nearly finished off Moxley, but Moxley was able to fight out of it. Then he Barnett went for the giant swing that went viral on social media, which is you know obviously he did, and where he just swang Moxley right into the steel post, and Moxley had one of the most insane um, um, blade spots he has ever done, in my opinion. He was so bloody, it was insane. He was bleeding all over this entire ring. That I am sure that half of the mat was full with blood in the end. What was also funny was that there were like a ton of AW chants from like two people. There were like two people and it constantly changed to the AW, which was funny. But yeah, I really enjoyed this match. I loved it till the end. The final 10 minutes, like I said, were great. Yannick, now I'm interested in your opinion because I
I
have the
thought this
feeling
was
you're the low one on
boring.
this. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
have the
thought
feeling
this
you're the
match
low
was
one on this.
boring. Um, they're first they made Ryogoku kind of care.
Mhm.
You hear them that it was good, and it felt big, but for a long time I thought this was just boring. Didn't get into it at all. Um,
Yeah,
I think it wasn't beforehand, like a few days ago, where Moxley was saying like if Bloodsport is like how wrestling should be, and he likes it for that. Like it's just the wrestling and not all the fluff. For that, he's pretty fucking dramatic.
yeah. Yeah, I can see. Yeah,
I just I didn't like that. But blading Moxley and Bloodsport that fits so well. If you think back to the Biff Busick match, um, and of course it went to overtime. Yeah, but I don't have much to say about this. This was not for me. And also at that point, Stardom has started, and I just wanted, like, I've seen enough Bloodsport. I wanted to switch over, see something else.
yeah. We can come to that when we talk about the entire show. That I have a take on that I think you will agree with. But yeah, I just really enjoyed this match. I love the story they were telling towards the end. But I can agree that especially the first 10 minutes where they were more focused on the crowd, which is really not Moxley's strength, um, was rather uninteresting to me. That's why it's not really high up on some best match of the year list. It was a good match in my opinion. Um,
Do you think he is
after,
concussed?
yeah, after the I will fix it. After the match, he held a little passionate promo. I tweeted about it. I'm pretty sure he had no clue where he was in that moment. I don't know if he was concussed or, which is more likely, that he lost so much blood because he lost a lot of blood that he was just out of there and just wanted, and just should have ended it right there because he was waffling. He was so waffling about weird stuff all the time, and the crowd didn't understand him because he speaks in English, so he needed to wait all the time until the translator's ready, finished, and then while the translator was speaking, he was continuing to speak, and it was something typical Moxley.
Yeah, that was so dumb. Just like take a breather, let her
Yeah.
translate.
The funny thing is for a show called Bloodsport, we didn't get it to like the last 20 minutes. Oh, it's peak wrestling, and
It's yeah.
and to be like very real, like I don't know. I think he was playing up like him being hurt and selling. There needs to be a lot of blood loss for you to be like actually like near like physically like unwell. So I don't
I
think it
mean,
was that because
I don't think he was physically unwell. I just think
I think he was selling it.
mm,
I think he was selling it, in my opinion, because I've not to like dig into my life, but recently I've gone to the doctor and tried to figure out stuff about like blood loss, and it takes pints and pints for you to be even close to being like unwell and dizzy and feeling like you're gonna die or something. So, but he did lose a lot. He did lose a lot. He put a lot out in the ring, which is it's cool for a show called Bloodsport. That's what it should be. So
yeah. And so pretty much promo is pretty much about that Moxley teased that Josh Barnett Bloodsport is coming back to Japan. Um, Looking at this, at the turnout of the show, I would think that next time they will choose a smaller venue, or at least they should, which means we will get this next year in Sumo Hall again.
Oh, that would be so funny.
I
God
mean,
save us.
the funniest option would be they sneak on some undercard of some Tokyo Dome boxing event. That would be the funniest option. Or as part, what I could see, I don't know if this is like really still the case. The Inoki event that is always happening at the end of the year, with where they had Shibata versus Tom Lawler, I believe in 2022 or 2023. Um, I mean, so I could see something like that if that happens again, which I don't know if that's going to be the case considering that, Inoki has passed away and all of that. But yeah, that could be something. But coming to an overall conclusion on the show, Yannick, what would you give the show from 1 to 10? What were your highlights? What went your lowlights?
Um, I would probably give like a 6.
Mm-hmm.
My highlight would, op- yeah, is it my highlight? I think my highlight is that spot with Konami and Maya rolling out of the ring, the half grab. That was eye-opening. Um, do I have like a real low light? I don't think. Yeah, Hammer beating Nomura. That was bad. Um, it's a good show. Like if this sounds like something you would enjoy, by all means do it. You don't make a mistake, but you don't have to see this.
Yeah, totally. I can agree with that. Pedro, same to you. 1 to 10 rating, low light, highlight. Where ranks the show for you?
I think I'd put in like 6.5. I for for a person that watches like MMA and you like literally UFC right now, I'm following along. Like for a person that actually kind of follows along with that type of stuff, and I've watched like the old Pride stuff and like the K1 stuff.
Mhm.
I I feel like I was entertained enough. Uh, Also as a pro wrestling fan, like in that between area, I was satisfied enough with the show. I think for what I paid, I think it was like $20 or something for the show. I think it was fun enough, especially with friends watching along, and like for for a show I don't think we ever thought of buying or trying to watch on the day where Stardom is running one of their bigger shows with the highest stakes it had. It ran against it just by a little bit. I think it was fun enough as a like a precursor to the wrestling night. But I definitely don't think they should do it back in this venue again. They should definitely choose wiser on their opponents and who I don't know who. I guess it's Josh's friends. He needs to choose a little wiser on what he has in there. The booking was kind of lame. Like a lot of the finishes were wah. But I could say I was fairly entertained, and there's some big surprises on this show. So
Yeah, I would agree with Yannick here that I would give it around 6 out of 10. Um, to be fair, I'm more strict and with show ratings than I with show ratings in general. Uh, it was a good show for me. I enjoyed most of it. Some would rather okay, but the problem was for me, and that's my take that I mentioned earlier. After some time, after like 4 to 5 matches, the Bloodsport style can get really boring quickly if someone doesn't do something creative out of it. Um, because those matches can look pretty similar if people aren't creative with it.
mhm.
And in my opinion, there were at least 1 or 2 matches, 1 or 2 or 3 matches where I would say they had pretty much the same spot in the match because you cannot reinvent the wheel, especially in some style like this, which was kind of bothering me at points. But it was not like a big critic. Um, the crowd was fine. I expected worse because I never know how those Japanese crowd accept this kind of style. They were rather quiet during the grappling sequences, which I can understand because some of them were tough to cheer for. Um, but Pedro, Yannick, do you guys know who was missing on the show?
Um, there was a guy on Twitter that people were complaining that wasn't on the show. Like
No,
maybe
no.
that was booked, or what do you mean?
We are talking about a real superstar.
Oh no,
Oh no, Kendo Kushin.
no! I'm gonna kill myself.
It's Jey Uso. Main event Jey Uso should have been on the show. No, but
You know that these jokes are lost on me.
It's just
that's
me,
sad.
Oos.
It's just me, Oos.
Oops.
Yeah, Oos. You don't know the joke, Oos?
No, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, but I would say my highlight of just was either the finish of Eric Hammer versus Nomura because it was like so hilarious that it just laughed it out, or if it was in my opinion, the match of the night, the Marella versus Sakuraba match. Low light, I mean, it is a lot. I would think the low light overall was just matches sometimes not delivering to the level I wanted to. And I would say another low light was in general the turnout of it, how it played out for me. Because personally, aside from like a meme standpoint, this was not like a show. It was better than I expected, but it was not like a show I would love to see again happening with the same wrestlers because I would think this is a one and done will age better than doing it yearly, especially if they continue doing it at Sumo Hall.
These shows should be like an hour and a half long at tops. And
Yeah,
like
the
obviously you
style can
cannot
get-
do that on a show this size.
No, especially
Or
not
like
with because you need those names on it, right? You need
Yeah,
those
exactly.
names on it, and you cannot put them against each other because neither one likely want to lose. So you need opponents for them. How long did it went? 2.5 hours, I think. And you can skip the final 10 minutes in the first 10 minutes of the opening, which ends like at around 2 hours 10 minutes. If I would have seen it live, it would have likely been easier to watch, and also if it didn't go head to head with Stardom at the end.
Yeah, it went.
Because then
it
I
went,
just wanted the show to end.
It went 3 hours and it felt like a 4-hour show, to be real.
It went 3
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah,
Jesus.
it went 3:14 in total.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, like it felt like a 4-hour
Oh yeah,
show. Really.
it ended with okay.
Yeah, they had 2 Stardom matches that were going on by the time this ended.
Yeah, that is rough. Yeah, it was a little bit too long for my opinion. And I would guess they are back next year because the way Josh said it, they're gonna be back. Or like at least Moxley teases they definitely gonna be back.
I mean,
hope...
should he say he will never come back?
Yeah.
With this turnout, I cannot imagine.
I don't know. The thing about this is the thing about this is it's something that Barnett would lose money off if he wants to do it. I don't think he cares about the money here that much, especially since he got a Bama and then fight streaming it, so he likely got pretty much some turnout to be a fine money thing overall. I don't think it's so many pay-per-views that he will get, or like at many viewers on a Bama that he will get a deal next year again. To be fair.
Yeah, like I don't know if he broke even on this. It might be close, but I don't know if he broke even.
Okay, let me put it like this. If you liked this, watch the Wrestling Detectives show on Wrestle Universe with Takuya versus Funoriabe.
Yeah,
it's shorter, it's more unique, and in my opinion, better. If that makes sense.
I can, totally. The battle art style is also better than Bloodsport style, even though there's not like too many differences. But in my opinion, enough to at least point it out that there is something. Also I think the wrestlers on the show were better. So.
That's real. I know what this show was missing. Keita Yano, baby.
Katie. I ain't sure. I mean, Yuki Ishikawa would have been cool in the show.
Oh yeah.
But I guess we are not cool enough for that here. we only get the weird ones.
If I was them,
weird and cool ones.
I would have got Minoru Fujita for the fuck of it on this show. Because I'd rather see him than like 4 of these people.
In this house, we respect Minoru Fujita.
Exactly.
Yes. But yeah, overall, I would say it was a fun show. It was fun to review as well with you two. So yeah, I was for sure disgusted.
God, Vulcan smells.
Yes, but Yannick, Pedro, please plug everything. Or like, wait a second. So have you any ending words on the show before we go to the ending part of this podcast, live podcast?
I think this was like a great experiment in terms of a show. Again, I don't think I would have watched the show if we didn't just talk about it and think about at least trying. Because obviously there's some cool names on the show, some interesting matchups. There's people from MMA, wrestling, and shoot style that like are very interesting to have on a show. In the it's like a like a big sumo hall. Um, so like I don't think I would do this again if this was in Sumo Hall, but I think it would be interesting to see if they follow up on this.
I
Um,
think it would be the funniest option if it happens once again in Sumo.
I hope it doesn't happen in Sumo Hall again. But yeah, fun time. Definitely not a waste of time, but definitely a fun time.
Yannick?
Yeah. Um, as I said at the beginning of the show, the Bloodsport has definitely run dry a bit, and this was like a little bit different, so it kind of worked out. Like I didn't mind it, but I'm not sure if I'm excited for another round
Yeah, yeah,
anytime
yeah,
soon.
yeah, totally. I can agree with both of your points. And with that, I would say you two should plug everything you have, your Twitter, your podcast, everything. Please give it a shout. Yannick, start, please.
Sure. You can find me on Twitter at Sbadoosh. Um, I'm sure it gets linked everywhere where you can, where you find this podcast. I'm
Yes.
a host of the Dramatic Dream Dragons. At the moment, we're on a little bit of a hiatus because it's exam season and vacation season. So we will be back. We were talking about DDT and Dragon Gate. And it's soon Peter Pan and Kobe World, biggest shows of the year. So there's definitely some stuff to look forward to.
Pedro?
Um, so I do a podcast every other like 2 weeks or a month or so. The outlet, it's on every platform. I've had Hugh, I've had other Yannick. I had double Yannicks on the show before. I've had basically a lot of people from the network. So if you're used to listening to them, you'll probably find them on my show at some point. Um, so yeah, I'm probably doing a show in about a week or two about definitely adding this onto the list of what I talk about. Well, besides that, we talk about Joshi usually and basically what's going on in the world of wrestling. I usually have a different guest every time. So besides that, I don't do much. I try to feature along with people and just try to move along because I like watching wrestling. I like talking wrestling, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, for me, of course, you can find me off Twitter at Peps_wrestling. I'm, um, and outside of the podcast of the Puro Gems Podcast, which you can always find on Apple or Spotify, the next episode should come out in 2 weeks, where we reviewed the June month of the Pure Gems promotions. But aside of that, I write for Recipes and Resura magazine. For Recipes, I mainly do the Joshi guide and the Puro guide, but also write previews or sometimes reviews or other stuff for about Stardom or other Puro promotions. On Resort Magazine, I haven't done much yet because busy times right now. But I have an article out about the Stardom rookies of the current generation of Stardom rookies. There should come out some more as well. An interview is coming up on Wrestle Peers with another Marigold wrestler. That's going to be cool. I just need the questions back. But yeah. But aside of that, for my German listeners, there's something coming up soon on another platform. I cannot announce it yet. So with that, please follow us everywhere where you can. Support the other guys. Support the rest of the 5-Star Network. There's some incredible content out there. It doesn't matter if it's the Stardom Quest, if it's Dramatic Dream Tanks and all of that. Please check them all out. They're all on this YouTube channel as well. So, and with that, I would say we are done with this podcast. Thank you all for listening to us reviewing this Bloodsport Bushido show. It was a lot of fun with you two guys. Thank you, Yannick. Thank you, Pedro, for being on the show with me. And with that, bye-bye. Have a good day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.